Hey guys, it's me back with another video. Today I'm going to guide you on how to use the newest controller added to Valorant called ASTRA. ASTRA is an incredibly good agent and can be extremely powerful if used correctly. She might even be better than Omen in many situations actually. In the first part of the video, I will go through her abilities and how exactly it works, how much time it lasts and other stuff. And in the rest of the video, I will show you exactly how to use those abilities to get advantage and when you should be using them. ASTRA is an extremely viable and powerful agent, and I think she might need a little bit of tweaking to try and balance her, but because I really think she's a very good agent. First off, here's the basics. As you can see below, there are three abilities, but none of those abilities work when you try to use them. So it says I need a star. Basically, ASTRA works like this. If you press your ultimate ability, you enter some sort of astral dimension and that displays the entire map. If you left click, you will be able to place stars, and those stars, that one star can be transformed into those three abilities. If you right click, that will be your ultimate, and ultimate is a wall that I will come across in the later part of the video. So if I go to the astral projection form and left click here, there a star will pop up over here. This star, now if you use any one of your abilities, it will be activated. So I'm placing 3 stars over here and I have 3 abilities. The first ability is the smoke ability, and it's a pretty nice smoke which can cover a medium section area. The second ability is the stun ability. On doing this, it's going to stun enemies and it will take some time before someone gets stunned. And here's how it looks like. There you can see. It's a no damage stun. The stun lasts for around 3 seconds and it's pretty useful. The next ability would be the Singularity. What happens in Singularity is that you get pulled towards the center of the star, and if you're in the radius of the star, when the star explodes, you will be affected with vulnerable debuff. So the Singularity pulls for 3 seconds, then applies vulnerable debuff for some time. And if you do not know, enemies who are vulnerable take 2 times the damage. The pull also seems quite powerful, and it's hard to dodge that pull. As you can see, it is very strong and it's a bit difficult to get out of. And you can see with the vulnerable is being applied. The vulnerable seems to be lasting for around 5 seconds, so that is quite powerful. 5 seconds, the enemy takes double damage. That's insane. So when you're trying to buy in ASTRA, you do not buy any of her abilities. You only buy the stars. You start off every round with 2 stars and you need to buy 3 stars to make the whole 5-star set. And each star costs 200, so if you buy all of them, that will cost you 600. These stars, by the way, a very good ability is that once you're placing them, you can pick them up at any time from any distance. As you can see now, I'm on the other side of the map. If you press F while looking at the star, it comes back instantly, and that's pretty useful and it's insane. The stars are visible to enemies as well, so they know when the star is present, which means you can use this to trick enemies and take your star back. Another thing to note is that when you're picking up the stars, they come back like quite instantly. Look at this specific star which is not filled, and look at how fast it fills up after I pick it up. See you? There you go, around 5 to 6 seconds and it's already back. And also another thing to note is that when you're picking up the star, it creates a smoke burst first. So it's also kind of useful to try and panic and fake enemies. You can see here it does a smoke and then comes back, and then it takes 5 seconds to get back on the board. Her ultimate ability is a giant long wall. All you need to do to place her ultimate is go back into her ASTRA form, right click, then left click, and then you have this wall that you can play around with. And then just place where you want to the wall to be. If you left click again, then the wall comes up. So you might be asking what is special about this wall and why is it better than Viper's wall? Well, Viper's wall does not block bullets, and ASTRA's wall blocks bullets. So that's a huge advantage. Not only that, the bullets are blocked, but also the sounds are quite muffled and they are very hard to hear. And if you're at a longer range, say this much, you won't even be able to hear much on the other side of the wall. If you are close to the wall, say you are here, you will be able to slightly hear the audio on the other side of the wall, but it will still be muffled. So if anybody is running, if you're close enough, you will be able to slightly hear it, but if you're like very far, forget it, you're not going to hear anything. This also applies to abilities, bombs, and everything. So if you have a wall and you are at this range, the wall is over here, you will not be able to hear if the enemy is defusing the bomb or planting the bomb. So if you're not an ASTRA, you need to know this. The wall muffles the sound, and after some distance, you won't be able to even hear the sound, which is around across the wall. It lasts for around 20 seconds. Any ability can go through the wall, so arrows, flashes, shock darts, everything goes through. Just bullets and jet knives do not go through the wall. So it's a very good wall to block off information and to push aside without being noticed first. So now you know all the abilities. Let's go through how exactly you can use them. The most standard way to use these abilities is to use them when it's necessary. So if someone gives a call, you just go to the ASTRA form, place the star and use it anywhere. Another thing to note is that the stars cannot be destroyed by enemies, so when you are placing the star in front of them, they cannot do anything about it but to play around it. The standard way to play is to just use the abilities whenever needed. So if someone gives a call, you can just place the stars and use it instantly, and it works pretty excellent. But there are certain strats that you could really use with ASTRA, and it's pretty nice. With ASTRA, you can place all 5 stars at once. So I place a smoke, say, over here, and I place a star over there. Once over here to stun, and once over here to pull enemies. And I guess I'll put one more star over here to place it as a backup. So I have 5 stars on the map. If you want to do a full execute quickly, she's a very fast agent to do any execute. Extremely fast. I simply smoke here, I stun here, and I pull the enemy out of the spot. So you can see how extremely fast everything is done. Breach takes time to stun. Omen cannot smoke and flash at the same time. Viper is also the same issue. ASTRA can do it instantly without any delay once the stars are placed. ASTRA is an extremely good fast using agent, and she's extremely good. Another strat that you can perform with ASTRA, which I really like, is you can place all the stars together at once when you're trying to execute a side and play mind games with your enemies. If you're placing 5 stars, enemies might think that you're going to push A and stack up. Well, if they're pushing A and stacking up, all you need to do is, take it back, and within 5 seconds you will have all of them ready. Just place them again, 1, 2, and I got my smokes. I can probably put one over here, stun, and just look over here. While they're stunned, they're not gonna peek, and then push and do stuff with it. Another very good strat with ASTRA that I don't really see anybody using is ASTRA is not just a good aggressive instant smokes, instant ability agent, but she can also be an extremely good defensive agent. In the defense side, you have all 5 stars, and since you can pick them up instantly at any point of time from anywhere and get them back almost instantly, just place them all across the map. So I can place my 5 stars, one over here, one over here, one over here, one over here, and maybe save one last for somewhere like say here. So if you are on this side of the map, you can straight away smoke if the enemies are trying to push through or show some aggression, and smoke probably here as well. It's an instant smoke. If you're Omen, you would have to go, aim, smoke, and then come back, go, aim, smoke. But ASTRA can do it instantly, 1, 2, and done. Not only that, ASTRA can use her abilities from anywhere on the map. So if enemies are trying to push a shot, you can straight away use your C ability and you can delay their push. You can press Q, delay their push. She can delay pushes. She can smoke everything. Everything is instant. Omen and Viper, they're not exactly instant. And once you know that they're going to the other side and you have used your stars, you can straight away take up the stars from the other side and place them later on to use for retake or stopping pushes further. ASTRA's stars work the same way as other agents, so you can place them for one-ways and stuff. So here you can see I'm placing one star up in a shot, and if I press the smoke button, you have a one-way smoke. If you place it more towards the edge, like over here exactly, then you will have a more wider smoke. So you can see here, this is a more better smoke, one-way smoke. So The point of this is that you can actually use her just like any other agent and put one-way smokes across the map whenever needed. So let's go through each ability and exactly how you can use them to get more advantage rather than just distract. First of all, her smoke. Her smoke is like Omen's smoke. So once you're inside, everything is like plainly visible and it's not dense. So that's one thing you need to know important. When you're attacking, the most basic thing when you're attacking is to smoke off important angles. So if you're coming, say A, you just put a star over in heaven and over in halls and you smoke it and go away. But with Astra, you can place more than one star. So you can place one in heaven, one in halls, another in heaven and another in halls, and double smoke whenever necessary. So if you are smoking here and then pushing through and you have access to the site, you plant the bomb, in 15 seconds this smoke is gonna go away. So you can re-smoke instantly. If you are Omen and the smoke goes away, you're in a big trouble. You have to go somewhere, hide, and then you save it. Use it safely. But with Astra, you can just straight away smoke it, like just like that, instant. It's like having multiple Viper's orbs or something. Quite useful. Another strat that is very nice that I have used a couple of times recently is you can use the smoke to block off spots and have some aggressive push. For example, you can put a smoke over here and you can also put a singularity over here, and if you smoke over here and then put your singularity, enemies would not push through the smoke. In usual cases, if you have a smoke placed over here, they would like wait inside the smoke, but once you come here you can singularity and you don't have to worry about that. You can even check these angles and then go back in and you have the advantage. Let's move on to our next ability, the stun ability. How well can you use the stun ability? You could use the stun ability just like a regular breach. You can just place a star over here and then straight away do the stun and then push through and kill enemies. That's one way that you can use it. Another way that you could use is to place your star beforehand, and if you're trying to execute or something, you use the stun ability so that the enemies don't push through. In most cases, or in some cases, when they are in cubby and you're trying to push side, if the elbow guys give information, they will push through. But if you don't have to do that. You can just smoke both the sides, stun away, and then look in the long, and then come back and then check the cubby. You could use the stun ability to try and keep them back. I say this because you are Astra, you aren't breach. You don't have to have your hand out. You just need to aim and just press your Q's ability. So you can like do a quick peek here. You can place your stun smokes. He's not peeking, and then you look at over here. Oh, you see someone, you Q instantly, bam. You see that? You're denying him the peek, and then you come over here and then you have the advantage. If you're trying to do an A execute, you can smoke anywhere you want. If you can also stun here. So when you're smoking and you're stunning, they're not going to push through because of that. So you can simply smoke away and they will not push through because they're stunned and they will be staying back. So you can use them to push back and gain control of the map, of the part of the map, which is quite useful. You could also flush out people over here, and like you can like smoke over here, smoke and stun instantly, and you will have the advantage right straight away. Like you don't have to aim, you don't have to do much. You just need to place your star, press Q, and then straight away peek. Our singularity ability is one of the best and it can be used in a very good way. As I said before, the singularity pull is quite strong, so it's like pulled towards the center. Now how can I use my singularity to my advantage? Well, one way is to stop pushes. As a defender, as an aggressor, you can flush enemies out of corners, and that's a really good ability. So if someone is hiding over in copy and you press C, if they are not prepared, then they get pulled towards and they are in the open. So that's a big advantage. If someone is prepared and you push your singularity, they just need to press S and they will be safe, but they will also be vulnerable. So that's one thing to keep an eye on. So the best way to use this ability is to instantly place it and instantly use the singularity, so that anybody who is hiding at some spot is not really, like, he cannot act instantly. So if breach flashes over here, you can simply place your singularity instantly, and while the enemy is blind, you can pull them out and they will not notice it. So that's one way that you can use the singularity in a very, very good manner. If you're a defender trying to push through, you can like place your star over here behind, this wall, or at the adjacent to the wall, so enemies don't really see through. And if you press C out, they are getting pulled outside. So that's one thing that you can also do. Or as I said before, you can flash and over here use your C over here and just pull them out, and they will be surprised out of nowhere. Breach with ASTRA is extremely good combination, and I really recommend you guys to try and explore it. I don't have any friend to really demonstrate this right now, so I apologize for the lack of examples, but my example is really good. You basically flash your enemy so they're blind, place your singularity here instantly, and then boom, pull them out. They will be blind, and by the time they realize that they're in the open, they will be dead. Also, one thing to note again is, just like the stun ability, even if enemies are aware of this star and are ready for the pull, they will simply like stay back, right? So they'll try and resist it. Well, when they're resisting it, you still have the 3-second window to do something. Like you can just put your singularity over here, and when you're trying to push, you can activate the singularity. Even if the enemy is trying to resist it, the 3 seconds of resistance would give you enough time to like try and push through and then kill them. And by the time you're trying to come here and kill them, they already have vulnerable debuff enabled, so that will also make your kills easy. So you can use the singularity as a tool to push enemies out of the corners, or to force them to stay in the corner so that you have more space to work with in that small time window. Another way to use the singularity is that it can be used to stop pushes for 3 seconds and delay pushes for 3 seconds, and that can be extended to a lot more time by using the other ability. Basically, if an enemy is trying to push through with the singularity, they will be pulled in and they will be pulled back as well. So that's one way to stop the push or delay the push. And when they are pushing through, by the time they're pushing through, they're going to be vulnerable. So I'm over here, I'm getting pulled, and then I'm getting pulled back. It's so hard to resist it, and then you're already vulnerable, so that makes you more dangerous. In post-blind situations as well, like I mentioned, you can use the singularity to pull out enemies or to push them back. So if you place your ability over here, they get pulled back. You can defuse, or you can even place it over here to try and pull them towards you. So you place over here, and then boom, they get pulled towards the center, and they are trying to resist and blah blah blah. Another way to use it is that if you have the information of the enemies in the corner and you do not have a stun, I am just assuming you do not have a stun, you can use the singularity. They will be stuck in the corner, but this will give you double damage capability. So that's a really good important thing to note, that you can use it to gain to give them vulnerable debuffs to get advantage of damage, even though you might not get advantage of sight. So once they are having vulnerable, you can flash through or do something and just use your bullets to kill them. And since they take double the damage, it's very easy to kill. The reason ASTRA is really good, as I said before, is she can use her abilities instantly, like very more easier than other aliens. And this enables her to work with her team more efficiently and more fast. So that's one thing to note. ASTRA is very good when paired with your team properly, and since her abilities can be used very fast and very easily, teamwork is more easier and improved. So when you want to use your abilities, you also need to ask your teammates what they really want to do. And if you coordinate with them in the right way, she can be really good instant agent. A very good combination of her ability, which has been shown in the trailer and which is pretty useful and effective, is to use 2 stars over here and stun them, as well as singularity. So if anybody is trying to pull jump in, they'll be pulled inside, and vulnerable will be applied to them, and anybody who's trying to jump will be stunned. That's a pretty good combination that you can use in several areas. For example, a short, you can stun as well as singularity. This would slow them even further, or here as well. And there's several other things that you can do as a combination of her ability. Another thing I forgot is that, I'm sorry for the live mic, is that you can pull enemies mid-battle. So they will be surprised with it. So if you're putting it on some sort of entrance and you pull them in, they won't be able to shoot. They'll have to keep moving. So this is an example. Them in. So you can see here. Say they are pushing hookah, right? Like this. Usually they would clear these corners and stuff. But if they decide to rush and have a dual pick or something, you can hear them run. And rather than just having an unfair 1v1 over here, since they will have the peak advantage because of pre-firing and stuff, you can just use your C. It's going to pull anybody over here and guess what? They'll be too busy on you. You push the Singularity, and whoa, what's going on? Whoa. So you could use this like in middle of the battle advantage ability. I don't know what to exactly call it. Basically, put them in secret places like say here or here, and suppose a side here is a good spot. If they're coming halls and then they are inside, you just press your C and they get confused, and you can have the 1v1 battle and you can win. Even here outside showers, which is a pretty good spot, probably over here as well when they're trying to enter over here. There's so many secret stars that you can place and use those stars to like all of a sudden surprise. So there's someone there coming here, they're trying to crush over here. You're in cubby, you press the C. Oh, what's going on? Oh, my spray is gone. Another way to use her Singularity, which is quite underrated and very good, is that you can pull enemies off of a plant. So say you put your star over here, the star covers the plant, and if a bomber is planting and you press the Singularity, the bomber gets pulled out. You can see that, right? When I'm trying to plant, it pulls me out, and when I'm outside this region, I'm no longer able to plant. So you can delay the plant by doing that by a few milliseconds, even though it might not matter much. It could have a small impact that could result in a bigger butterfly effect. Don't know. So this is the bomb, right? So I am over here. So now if I saw this one. So I can defuse the bomb right now. So look. See that? You can't even defuse. See that? That's a pretty huge ability, and since the stars cannot be destroyed, you just place your Singularity over here and just pull them off when they're defusing. This is a very good ability. And since you're defusing, you can't really move. Like you cannot press W and defuse, so that's a problem now, isn't it? So her ultimate, how can it be used? Well, her ultimate lasts for 20 seconds, and 20 seconds is not the biggest time window. So you need to use her extremely quickly, the ultimate ability, and be fast. Otherwise, the value you get would be less. If you're a defender, I think you should save your walls for retake. And when the enemy has planted the bomb and is falling back and taking positions, I think using the retake wall, say over here or towards like this, and cutting off information completely can be quite useful, because anybody over here will not be able to hear you unless you are very close, and this can help you like gain access to the map more without them having access to information. This also means that if anybody is trying to do lineup games, they will not be able to hear you because you are very far to them. So you could diffuse them. If they are trying to play lineup game, they won't be able to hear any sound and they will not be able to use their lineups. So that's a very good point to note as well. You could also combine the retake wall along with abilities. So say you have a wall like this. You could put a Sova's recon arrow over here to show the enemies who are in hookah, who are in cubby, and kill them instantly, and use the drone or flash to flash through the wall over here and peek over here to kill. You can do several things with the wall and abilities combined, which is very useful. Another thing to note is that, as I said, hearing from the other side would be difficult. So if you're a Sova and you're using your arrow from here, anybody over here or here will not be able to hear the arrow being deployed. So that can be used to surprise recon dart instantly. So if anybody's over cubby, they won't be able to hear the Sova's arrow coming in. Once it crosses the wall, only then they will see it and hear it, and boom, you have the advantage there. I don't recommend using the wall early. I think using the wall late after the bomb has been planted for retake is a very good strat, and I think that's the only strat that you need to see. Use the wall to block off the most common areas. You can block off over here, or you can block off this part of the map, or you can just focus on blocking off this part of the map. There's several different combinations that you can do, but use it to block off enemies' line of sight and give them less sound to work with. Also, another thing to note is, since this wall can block off sound, any attacker using this wall can actually teleport without giving sound if the enemy is far away. So if the enemy is over here or something, they won't be able to hear the other person teleport. So that's one thing that you need to note, because you could use this thing to your advantage. So you could place, as an attacker, you could place a wall over here, right? And you could probably use the teleporter without giving away much sound, so that would also be crazy, you know. You could use her abilities towards A and instantly teleport, and they would be shocked. As an attacker, one obvious way would be to use the wall to cut off the most possible angles, since the footstep sound would be not audible in the longer range. So the most common angles would be Heaven, CT, Cubby, and Triple, and default backside. So you could block them off like this, or you could block the entire half side like this, only risking Cubby, so you can anyhow clear Cubby. Putting this wall would mean that you would have to use your abilities to clear anybody hiding over here and here as well, by the way, and then you can clear the corners. Also, one thing to note is that you are placing the wall, right? Not just the enemies will not be able to hear it, that's not the only thing. It's also that you won't be able to hear them. So you won't be able to know what they are doing or what they are using if you are far away from the wall. So you have to use your wall carefully. I would recommend to use the wall in a very simple fashion, maybe to just cut off line of sight and just use this specific wall, because this can block a lot of angles. You just need to use your arrow, owl drone or something to clear this corner over here, and you just plant the bomb, and you'll be like, it's more safe bet. I think this is a better safer wall to try and get access to the site and then play around though. Like after you get access to the site and you've planted the bomb, you could try and play aggressive, like use your flashes to push through, or use your recon dart to arrow and then push through, or play something like that. Because if you have an aggressive ultimate wall, like say like this, not only you're blocking them, they are also blocking you technically. You will not get any information about them, so they can be like here or here, they can be anyway. And if you run and they are like here behind the wall, they can hear you, roughly they can hear you that you're running, and they will instantly, they can like backstab you and stuff. So that's one disadvantage of having an aggressive bomb site wall. Essentially use the wall to take the site, but don't be so aggressive with it, be more safer with it. Also to note is that by doing this specific wall, you're not just blocking off A, you're also blocking off B. Note that as well. So enemies will have a hard time figuring out exactly where you're pushing. You are good enough with lurkings and other stuff. So you can see it blocks away the entire thing. So you can like push B long or push Hookah without giving sound to the sides. And it's pretty good. This wall essentially forces enemies to be divided into two sides, and they will not get enough information, and by the time they get the information, it will be a bit too late. So that's a really good advantage of Astra. And yeah, that's it for current guide for Astra. I will be updating this guide if I find some more tricks to play around with her, and if the meta gets more loose or gets more predictable, I think it's better to try and adapt. One very uncommon way that use your star, smoke it off, and just play inside the star, inside the smoke. Anybody who plays inside the smoke will have the advantage when the enemies try pushing through. That's an obvious fact, since the transition effects that you're getting, right, that actually blocks the people from seeing you first for a few seconds, milliseconds. So you could use that to your advantage. I use this very often. I basically just wall over here, smoke over here, and just play inside it. Or you can like smoke towards this way instead, and when they are pushing you, you just play inside this smoke, and they won't expect you as much. So that's another way that you can use her wall. You can use her wall like some sort of ninja dome or something and just play around with it. You can do that. There's several ways to play her, and her play style is dependent on your rank. Like you can play very aggressive if you're in a lower rank, but if you're in a higher rank, passive is the only way to go. And yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed this guide. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Any feedback is appreciated, and I will be updating the guide later on when I learn more about her. And yeah, I'll see you guys later, and have fun with Astra. See you guys later.